Some Democrats took over Republican seats in the Texas House last week, but the GOP still controls the chamber. The first order of business going into the new legislative session will be to pick a new speaker after the retirement of Joe Straus. State Representative Bonnen is throwing his hat into the mix, says he has a lot of support.
We're here to let you know that the speaker's race is over and the Texas House is ready to go to work. The number one priority will be decided by the members, but having talked to numerous members, I can guarantee you that priority is school finance.
Here to talk about the upcoming legislative session and the effect the new Democrats will have on it is Gary Teal, the Travis County Republican Party Executive Director, and Glenn Smith from Progress, Texas. Glenn, the members will vote on the next speaker the first day of the next session. But as you just heard, State Representative Bonnen is confident he's the man. Do you think the Democratic Party, with more of a say in the legislative session coming up, will have an effect?
Well, I think they're going to have an effect, but they have 67 votes. That's not that much short of being at parity with the Republicans. It's hard to ignore them if you're the majority party with the Speaker's office or not. I would hope we don't go the way of Washington, D.C., where you see a tyranny of the majority party that just basically disenfranchises the minority party and its millions of voters and acts like they're not there, their opinions don't matter. I was a little bit scared that I heard Representative Bonnen say their first priority of business is school finance. I'd like the issue addressed, but if I was a school district in Texas, I would lock up my money because this Texas legislature and its Republican leadership has not been good about funding public schools, so I'd watch out for that.
Gary, the speaker vote could be as simple as the representative thinks it's going to be. You think that's going to be the case?
Oh, yeah, I do. I think that they get pledges from House members, and they will go into those meetings in January with a foregone conclusion. They'll be able to work now, between now and then, talking about who they want to chair committees and that sort of thing. It's true that Washington is a very partisan place where there's no room for the minority party to be part of a committee or the leadership of a committee at least. But that's been true for my whole life. I mean, Tip O'Neill was the Democrat speaker who basically just ignored the Republicans throughout his term as speaker. So maybe it will be a little bit more like that.
All righty. You know, talking about legislation, school finance, Glenn, included, do you think these new Democrats are going to have some sort of sway in that legislature when it comes to the filing of bills and trying to pass them?
I think that they will. Of course they will, as I said, because they're closer to parity with Republicans in the House. So it got, strength comes in numbers. I do think that the Republican leadership has got to pay more attention to the minority party than they have in the past. Let me tell you, I worked in the Texas legislature under Democratic leadership in the Senate, and during that time, Republicans were given their chance and did pass a lot of legislation. It was a much more bipartisan place at the time. I think you could ask senators and House members from the legislature during that time in the late 80s, early 90s if they got a fair shake, and they'd all say they did. Why don't we return to those bipartisan times, do the business of Texas, and quit the sort of selfish, self-focused majority party tyranny that we've had?
Gary, we got to wrap up real quickly, but what do you think of what Glenn just said?
I don't see it as majority party tyranny. I see it as the people who got the most votes having control of the legislature. And if they do something that is overstepping what the voters wanted, then the Republicans will lose more seats in 2 years. I think that what they'll be doing is trying to do things that Texans want them to do so that they can get those 12 seats back and many more maybe.
Okay, that's how it's supposed to work anyway. Glenn, Gary, thank you both very much.
Thank you.